everyone, it's Sharonda from Pigger Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Handmaid's Tale, Season 4, Episode 1, Pigs. Alright, R.I.P. to my homie Charlie, you didn't deserve it, but you know what, I could say you did what needed to be done, but it really wasn't your choice. But we're just going to do a little moment of silence for my homie, the pig Charlie. I think that was his name, I'm not sure. Okay, so we pick up where we left off from the end of season 3 when June was responsible for helping some of the Marthas and the children of Gilead, 86 children, make it on the plane to Toronto to safety. And we see that it opens up because she was shot by bullets. We open it up with her basically leaking out blood. They're in the middle of some type of makeup store because I saw the Mac poster. And we see that they're playing I Say a Little Prayer. And I was like, that was chef's kiss right there. I will say this season, the music is absolutely on point. Whoever is in charge of that, you did the dang old thing. So when I say that my heart stopped when Janine had to burn her wound because she was losing a lot of blood, they were afraid that she was going to die. And so in order for them to be able to travel, they had to seal the wound up. And so they had to burn her wound closed. And I felt that. Like, I felt that for her. I was like, June, you just saved all these kids and now you got this little burn mark. I was like, ooh, I know that hurt. But I got scared for them. So they were in this transport, working with Mayday and trying to transport them to safety. And I thought they were about to get caught because when old girl started hyperventilating, I was like, ma'am, chill out. Like, come on now. Like, figure it out. You saw the look that June had on her face when she looked at her like, I know if you don't shut the hell up, I know you better. So she got it together. June helped her, did a couple of breathing exercises, but I was like, girl, everything y'all been through, this what you scared for? Like, chill out for a moment. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared too, girl, but you was still getting on my nerves. So we see that June has to be the one that goes to the house. They find the house from the network. They make it to their stop. And they were like, June, like, you can't go anywhere. And she was like, no, it's going to be me. And I was like, okay, you want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. You got them in this predicament. You might as well be the one to go to them in case something doesn't go right. And for a moment, I did think that things weren't going to go right. However, they were delivered to safety. I was very confused when one of the Guardians was like, hey, like, are you okay? And I was like, sir, does she look okay? And then as soon as I said that, she basically signaled them and then she passed out. So June was really fighting an infection. She's throwing up. She's delirious. And then we get a glimpse of Mrs. Keys, played by McKenna Grace, who absolutely slayed it, who killed that you know what. So I was really concerned when I first saw Mrs. Keys because as June is like going in and out of consciousness, she was like, I dreamed about you. The Lord told me that he would send you to me. You were in my dreams. We were killing people together. I was like, killing people together. I said, girl, what kind of dreams the Lord giving you? I know my Lord. I don't think my Lord be sending dreams about me killing people. I just don't think that's something that the Lord does. I don't know what your Lord does, but that just feels really intense. And I think you need to have some conversations. So I was a little scared for June when she said that. Because I was just like, I don't know what type of dreams, like, we be having about killing people. That really disrupted my spirit. You know, you meet somebody and you just look at them and it's just like, something don't feel right about you. That's how I felt about Mrs. Keys this entire episode. But one of the things that I do appreciate is that how, with her character, they start to show how different segments of this world of Gilead is affected. And we see this with Mrs. Keys because she's such a young woman. And the fact that they married her to this old ass man, I was highly confused. I said, so there's like no age? Like, you can at least get somebody who was fertile in their like 30s? You had to send this little girl. I was just kind of confused. I don't know if you guys were confused by it, but I know that I was confused by it. And so when I say that Mrs. Keys wasn't having June just taking a break, she was like, oh, you're here. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you, girl. You got the kids out, girl. And then basically she was like, okay, what's next? Like, who we finna kill, sis? Like, let's ride out. And then June looking at her like, ride out? Like, what you mean ride out? And when Mrs. Keys, I keep wanting to call her McKenna because that's the name of the actress's name. But when she said she wasn't having it, saying like, well, if you weren't gonna do nothing, then you shouldn't have came. I was like, wow, okay, hostess with the mostest. I was just like, can my girl get healed? You see, she's talking about she got pus and stuff coming out, like she can barely walk. I was just like, can y'all hold off on killing like y'all were in y'all dreams just for a couple of seconds? Damn. Like, can she live for a moment? So we see that she goes to check on everyone. She looks for Amma. She goes to check on Janine. Janine has found this attachment to the pig. I just wish I had the heart of Janine, the patience that Janine has, because I do feel like she's a beautiful spirit, but I just feel like the Lord is still working on me because I can't stop being petty. But she has found an attachment to this pig, and she said a prayer for the pig like that was going to save the pig, and I was like, Janine, you know they finna kill this pig no matter what. I mean, you were basically just giving the eulogies to the pig's funeral, but it is what it is. But what really disrupted my spirit and only added to how I felt about Mrs. Keys is when she made Janine eat a piece of the pig. I said, ma'am, that's how disrespectful you're going to be? And when she closed Janine's mouth after she, like, to make her chew it, I was just like, wow. Like, I don't know if she's an ally anymore, y'all. Something is off with her. But I was happy that June basically went to tell her off, like, hey, what you gonna do is you gonna leave my girl Janine alone. And I was like, right. Because I was just like, you can mess with whoever else you want to mess with, but you can't mess with Janine. Baby girl done been through too much. So I was really excited that she did that, but when she kind of breaks it down as to why she acts this way, how she was given to him as such a young girl, but the fact that he basically couldn't get it up, try Viagra, all of that stuff, but when he resorted to sending guardians, commanders, just men to sleep with his wife in order to impregnate her, I was just like, oh my God. So I was like, you know what, Mrs. Keys? I know you've been rubbing me the wrong way this entire episode, but after she told that story, I mean, even June had to be like, oh, come here, boo, like consoling her. And I love how June basically takes this motherly figure role with Mrs. Keys throughout the course of the episode after learning about everything that has happened. And so, you know, June's upset because she's looking like, okay, well, my behind been delirious for the past couple of days or weeks, however long I've been asleep. And you mean to tell me no one else uncovered what was happening with her? And so she goes to Alma and she's like, Alma, sis, what you been doing? Because Alma's like, baby, I'm free. And she was like, sis, do I need to remind you not free? You just a Martha. You still working. Like, where is everybody getting this whole I'm free? Like, we have not been led out of the perils of whatever this is that we're going through. And so she's going to tell everybody else off. And then she sees that they're having a party. Everyone's dancing. You see that the women can be with one another. Two men can be with one another. And just seeing everyone's happiness, I was like, you know what? I needed that. Like, let's just have a happy moment for once as they're singing and dancing and doing everything. But we see that she ends up going into the house and she talks to Commander Keys, and he clearly has issues and trouble remembering things. And so I felt like he was like, hey, like, there's a young girl that keeps walking around here. Like, who is she? And then he was like, I'm afraid of her. And then I'm just thinking, you need to be afraid of June because it looked like she about to kill your behind. And then June was like, you should be. And then she walks away because then we have a scuffle. One of the guardians came to basically rape Mrs. Keys, as she kind of foreshadowed earlier in the episode. And then Johnny, baby, or Commander Poe, or wherever the man's name was, they let him have it, honey, okay? They let him have it. But for a moment, it started becoming a horror series. I don't know if you guys got upset, but when basically June tells her, like, hey, like, tells Mrs. Keys, like, hey, you're right. We are Mayday and we need to do something. And when she tells them, like, you have been a traitor to your country and it's time for you to be punished, I got scared. I don't know about you guys, but I was getting scared. Like, hold up, y'all, what kind of show is this now? Because it seems like they finna start killing people. Are they serial killers now? Like, I didn't know what was going on. And so essentially she hands her the blade and then she tells her, like, make me proud. And I was like, make her proud. And so essentially June walks away. We can hear the screams of the guardian and essentially he is dead. But what was even more chilling is when Mrs. Keys walks into June's room covered in blood all over her face and hands. And then she just lays next to her in the bed like, is this okay? And she was like, yes. And then when she says, I love you, and she was like, I love you too, Banana, I was like, girl, this is not Hannah. And like, you can't just make a surrogate because you're missing your daughter Hannah and not you creating serial killers. I'm really confused as to what was going on. But for that part of the series, I was like, oh, so we getting dark right here. But let's talk about the Raggedy Waterfords, okay? The Raggedy Waterfords are back, all right? So they're having a meeting with Mr. Tuello, and essentially he breaks the news to them that both of their hearings and the meetings with their lawyers are going to be postponed because of the 86 children that were delivered into Gilead. And then when Serena had the audacity to say, their poor families, I said, bitch, what? Their poor families? Their poor families? What you mean, the poor families of the kids that y'all stole from them years ago? I was like, the nerve and the audacity of her. Then when they had the nerve to be like, oh, well, who's responsible? Now, y'all already knew that June had something to do with this. Like, come on now. So I didn't know if it kind of looked like Serena had a smile on her face when she said, may God have mercy. Like, she kind of was happy that June got away. I don't know. Let me know. I might be reading too much into it, because Lord knows she got the heart of the devil, because she is the devil. So for Aunt Lydia. So I forgot Aunt Lydia got her ass beat in the last season. So she looking all scuffled up. She still got bruises and stuff all over her face. And I was like, ooh, chill. So she's meeting before the little committee. And essentially they tell her like, hey, you're free from punishment. And then she was like, he was like, you know, after 2 weeks. And then she's like, you mean the 19 days y'all been questioning me? Don't be sitting up here shortchanging my trials and tribulations. It was how long? So essentially, you know, she gets off and they tell her she can go back to her duties. And then the dude had the audacity to say sinful whores. I said, say that to my face, hoe. Sinful whores? Sinful whores? Yo, raggedy behind calling them sinful whores, the women that you rape day and night? Okay, okay. But I was like, Aunt Lydia stopped. And she turned around. I said, give them to him, Aunt Lydia. But then when she started talking about it was the Delilah, I was like, nah, girl, this could have been an opportunity to low-key redeem yourself for 30 seconds, because you cannot fully redeem yourself because you're going to hell for everything that you have done. But I was just like, so you just, no one's going to take responsibility. Even when they told her, like, hey, we took pity on you because you're, how fragile you were. I was like, is Aunt Lydia the only bodyguard of security in Gilead? You mean to tell me it was up to Aunt Lydia? I thought the men, y'all not supposed to be protecting people? You couldn't have stopped these 86 children from leaving? That's just like a weak man. A weak man. To blame this on one woman? Don't even get me started. But, talking about, don't even get me started, y'all. Let me go to Raggedy Commander Bradford, and I think that's his name, but I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, because I don't like him still. So we see fine ass Nick. Hey Nick. Hey boo. Okay, so we see him, and basically he thanks the commander for his service. And the commander's like, oh, so y'all finna kill me? And I was like, yeah, they finna kill you? Like, what's going on? Y'all waited a whole season to kill him? I was like, okay. And so essentially he basically tells them like, hey, they're still like, this is an opportunity for us. This is a way for us to be legitimized, that we can be recognized by the UN as a rightful nation. So I guess he's going to try to get into Nick's head. And I guess Nick saved him from being killed. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. However, I do want to give kudos to, I mean, there is just so many good moments in this episode. McKenna Grace, girl, you did that. You slayed that entire scene. Elizabeth Moss does fantastic as well. I love some of the shots that they use, even just the shots of in the empty truck when we think that they're about to figure out that the handmaids are in there. That overhead shot when we see them in the forest and you see the red and the contrast between that and all of the snow that is happening. But I love this episode. I thought it was a pretty good intro into the season 4 premiere of Handmaid's Tale. Episode 1, Pigs. Those are my thoughts about it. And also too, to let you guys know, I've interviewed a couple of the cast members of the Handmaid's Tale, so I have those interviews up next week. But thank you for watching my review. I'm sorry that this is late, but those are my thoughts on the Handmaid's Tale season 4, episode 1, Pigs. As always, my name is Sharana from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000, and until I see you again, bye.